Students, and welcome to today's session. In this particular session, we are going to discuss the poem The Heart of the Tree, which is composed by Henry Culler Berner. So, we are going to discuss about this particular poem in this video, and we will be discussing the first two stanzas in this particular video. And in the second video, we will be doing the concluding part of the poem. Now let us try to understand that how we are going to proceed with the explanation of this particular poem. First, we'll discuss about the poet. Then we'll have a short introduction to the poem. We'll try to understand what the poem is basically about. Then we move on to the stanza-wise explanation. There are all total 3 stanzas in this particular poem. So we'll go line by line and stanza-wise we'll try to understand the poem. Then we'll do the theme and the title of the poem. And finally, we'll do the critical appreciation of the poem. So as per the plan, let us first try to understand about the poet, that is Henry Culler Berner. So you can see there is an image of the poet also given here. Now Henry Culler Berner was born on August 3, 1855 in New York. He was educated in New York City and he turned to journalism after working as a clerk in a business establishment house. So first he worked as a clerk in a business establishment house, and then he turned his interest to journalism. In 1877, he became the assistant editor of a comic magazine, which was a weekly magazine named as Puck. So he became the assistant editor of this comic weekly magazine Puck. And though Henry Berner was primarily known as the editor of the humor magazine Puck, he published several other works. His published works include A Woman of Honor, Airs from Arcady, The Midge, In Partnership, etc. As a playwright, he is known mainly for Tower of Babel. So these are some of the famous works of Henry Culler Berner, and then we move on to a short introduction to the poem. Now this particular poem which is at hand, that is The Heart of the Tree, it highlights the need of planting trees. The poet believes that a tree proves to be large-hearted as it benefits everyone. In fact, a tree leaves a rich legacy for the coming generation, because the coming generation will enjoy the benefits of a tree that is planted at the present moment. The heart of the tree focuses our attention on the value of planting a tree. We know that felling or cutting down of trees in the modern times particularly has led to many environmental disasters. This poem is divided into 3 stanzas, and in these 3 stanzas the poet tells us of the various benefits of planting a tree. Each stanza opens with the same question: what does he plant who plants a tree? And then the poet goes on to answer that question himself. The poet says that he who plants a tree plants many things. He plants the gentle sunlight, free breezes, beauty, music, and harmony. A person who plants a tree ensures cool shade and tender rain. A person who plants a tree leaves a rich legacy for the coming generations. He who plants a tree is conscious of the growth and development of his country. In other words, trees are important for better environment and growth. They are symbolic of peace, harmony, and so many other things. Without trees, we cannot think of our life on this earth. So let us now try to understand the poem line by line. So first, the first stanza of the poem, stanza 1. In stanza 1, the poet says, what does he plant who plants a tree? He plants a friend of sun and sky. He plants the flag of breezes free, the shaft of beauty towering high. He plants a home to heaven and I, for song and mother croon of bird, in hushed and happy twilight heard. The treble of heaven's harmony, these things he plants who plants a tree. Now, if you analyze this particular stanza of the poem, you will find that the poem follows a general pattern. And this pattern is that of raising a question and then immediately providing an answer to that question. If you see the first line, raises a question. What does he plant who plants a tree? And then the remaining part of that stanza is in the form of an answer to that question. This is the general pattern that the poet has followed in all the three stanzas of the poem. Now, literally, this technique is known as hypophora or antipophora. What is the term? Hypophora or antipophora. Now, the poet begins each stanza of the poem with the question, what does he plant who plants a tree? Then he goes on to himself answer that question. The answer given by the poet each time explains the importance of trees in different spheres of human life. This repetition of the same question at the beginning of each stanza of the poem is intentionally done by the poet to create curiosity or anxiety in the readers to know more about the poem, to know more about the benefits of planting a tree. This also holds the attention of the readers. So since this is time and again repeated in the poem, this is also an example of refrain. So a refrain is the repetition of certain lines, phrases in the poem in order to draw the attention or attraction of the readers and also to emphasize certain ideas or points. Now, if you see the opening stanza, In the very opening stanza of the poem, the poet raises a general question to the readers. And that question is, what does he plant who plants a tree? Then he goes on to answer that question, and as he answers that question, he delineates, he explains the value of planting a tree. According to the poet, planting a tree means more than what we mean by plantation as an activity. When a human plants a tree, he plants many things. Like he plants a friend of sun and sky. If you see, the background image of this stanza which I have used is also that of the sky and the sun. When a man plants a tree, he plants a friend of sun and sky. So a tree is a friend of congenial atmosphere. It reduces air temperature and even purifies air by trapping dust, pollen, and smoke. It ensures free, gentle breezes. Thus, it is aptly described as a friend of sun and sky. Here, the tree is suggested as a friend of the sun and sky because one day this tree will grow tall and it will appear to reach the sky. The tree is a friend of the sun as it is also dependent on sunlight to carry out the process of photosynthesis to make its food. Similarly, the tree is a friend of the sky. It takes in carbon dioxide from the air and releases oxygen in the air and thus purifies the air. Also, the transpiration from trees is responsible for the formation of clouds in the sky. And this clouds causes rain. The tree is then again compared to a flag of free breeze. He plants the flag of breezes free. It is compared to the flag of free breeze because just like a flag flutters freely in the breeze, the leaves of the tree flutter and provide soothing, cool breeze to us. The tree grows high with its long, narrow stem and looks like a beautiful tower. It is the shaft of beauty towering high. Shaft of beauty means a long, narrow part of something, maybe sunlight, for example. So the tree also grows very tall with its long, narrow stem, and it looks like a beautiful tower or a beautiful shaft. The person who plants a tree, he plants a home to heaven anigh. He plants a home, anigh means very near or close to. He plants a home which is near to heaven. Since the tree reaches the sky, and it is a general belief that heaven is above in the sky, generally believed. So therefore, the home here refers to the nest which is built by the birds, the sheltering place of the birds. And that home is very close to the sky, very close or near to the heaven. So, and also the tree turns a place around it into a heaven. The place where there are green trees around is nothing less than a heaven. It appears that the trees have made a home closer to heaven. So therefore, a person who plants a tree also ensures a shelter for the birds. for whose sweet crooning here means the gentle sweet song, the lullaby of a mother that the mother bird sings to make its young ones fall asleep. So, a person who plants a tree ensures a shelter for the mother bird whose sweet crooning or soft singing in silent and happy twilights delight us. In other words, one who plants a tree, he creates a shelter place for the mother bird who sings to her young ones happily with a soft and gentle voice in the twilight. And the bird's high-pitched tone adds to the pleasant harmony of the universe. Pleasant harmony of the universe means it adds more music to the music of the spheres. Spheres means it is a belief that when the planets and other planetary objects, when they are in their motion, they produce a music. Okay. That is referred to as the music of the universe, the music of the heaven. So the song of the bird, the high-pitched tone of the song of the bird, it adds beauty to the harmony of the universe. These are the things that a person plants when he plants a tree. Okay. Now we move to the second stanza of the poem. In the second stanza of the poem, the poet says, what does he plant who plants a tree? He plants cool shade and tender rain, and the seed and bud of days to be, and years that fade and flush again. He plants the glory of the plain, he plants the forest heritage, the harvest of a coming age, the joy that unborn eyes shall see. These things he plants who plants a tree. Now, in the second stanza of the poem, the poet once again raises the same question. That is, what does he plant who plants a tree? Perhaps the poet wants to suggest more benefits of planting a tree. And the answer that is provided by the poet is quite straightforward and simple. According to the poet, a man who plants a tree ensures cool shade for us in summer and tender rains in all seasons, which are essential for our very existence. We know that these trees help in the formation of clouds, and these clouds in turn bring soft, gentle, and pleasant rain on this earth. And this rain makes our earth green. As we know that rainwater is very essential for carrying out the process of cultivation. And in the modern times, we have also started storing rainwater in big reservoirs in order to use them for manifold purposes. So, where does this rainwater come from? It is only because of the existence of trees that there is rain. Without trees, we cannot think of rain. So, a tree that is planted by a person, in course of time, it will develop, it will grow into a huge tree, extending its branches, and it will provide cool shade to us during summer season. And in that shade, we can rest, we can relax, we can re-energize ourselves. In course of time, the tree will bear seeds and buds which will bloom in times to come. So we know that the tree will bear seeds, it will bear fruits, and the seeds of that fruits can be used to grow many other trees. So it will produce seeds and buds which will bloom in times to come, in the future time. The poet also describes a tree as the forest heritage. Now, what is heritage? But before we go to that line, let us try to understand the line, and years that fade and flush again. So, these trees which will grow tall, in course of time, with the passing of year, these trees will grow, and a day will come when they will die. They will fade away. Fade away means they will fade out, they will die. And then they will flush again. They will be replaced by new trees. That is, they will flush again into the entire forest. So the idea of birth, death, and regeneration is depicted in this particular line. Okay. So the tree will grow tall, it will bear fruits, it will bear seeds, and one day the tree will die. But the seeds of those trees will grow again into new trees. So the old trees will be replaced by new trees, and it will flush again in the entire forest. So this depicts the idea of birth. Anything that is born is bound to die. And then there is rebirth, regeneration. Okay. So the tree here is described by the poet as the forest heritage and the harvest of a coming age. Harvest means it is a reward, and heritage means a history or tradition that is passed down from one generation to the other. So when the poet says that after many years the trees will grow old and they will wither away, they will die, and these trees will grow into new trees, creating a dense forest. So they will make an harvest for the coming generation. Okay. That means what? The forest that will be created and is now, it will prove to be a wealthy resource for the coming generation. And since forests are our natural heritage, therefore the person who plants a tree helps in conserving, protecting our natural heritage. So all this idea is symbolic of the process of birth, death, and regeneration. In this way, the trees will make the plains appear beautiful. So therefore the poet says that a person who plants a tree, he plants the glory of the plain. He plants the glory of the plain. The trees can serve us as a living legacy for the next generation. It will provide many benefits. It will bring many joys to the coming generation, which is depicted through the phrase unborn eyes. Unborn eyes means unborn children. So here the poet makes a reference to the future generation who is yet to be born. So the tree is viewed as a link between us and our children who are yet to be born. Okay. Or it is a link between the present generation and the future generation. So in this video, we do only till the second stanza. Thank you for watching, and let us conclude this video with a famous quote. Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. This depicts the benefits of planting tree. We are enjoying the fruits, the benefits of trees because those trees were planted many years ago by somebody else, maybe by our ancestors, by our predecessors. So they left a legacy for us. They left the earth in a beautiful shape for us. So it becomes our prime duty to create or to plant more and more trees, so our coming generation is also greatly benefited by it. Thank you for watching. We will be continuing with this poem in the next video.